I went to E.P.I.C International last week, and it was a blast. I love getting to be around 911 personnel because truly, you're the funnest people on the planet. And I used to be one of you back in the back in the last century. I got to serve from between 1983 and 2001. I worked in 911. One of the things that happened at E.P.I.C was I got reminded of why the work I do is so unique and so important. I went to a health and wellness session, and the speaker was very good and very sincere. And I have a problem with what she presented because she focused on all the negatives, all the things that can go wrong. Honestly, I don't think that you don't know what can go wrong. You see it around you. You see people on the downward spiral, people who used to be enthusiastic, who drag themselves to work every day, people whose physical health is declining, whose emotional responses become deadened and almost non-existent. And you look at it and you think, well, that can't happen to me. And then you worry that maybe it will. And focusing on what's wrong, focusing on all the negatives, I think is an error. There's a lot of joy in 911. We get to do what humans are made to do, which is help other humans. That compassion satisfaction that you feel is one of the cornerstones of a healthy life. And so as long as you're enjoying that part and you are actually feeling like you help people, you can have joy in your work. But that's one of the factors that slides away because we don't have time to feel compassion satisfaction. The phone's still ringing. We still have things to do. We've got people to clear. We've got work to do, and we don't take that moment to really enjoy it. Another factor in a healthy response to life, a healthy response to the work and the home and all the things that come together to create your life is healthy habits. 911 work is shift work inherently, and shift work is hard on our bodies. It interferes with our circadian rhythm, which drives how we sleep, and sleep is crucial to mental health and physical health. And when we deprive ourselves of sleep for too long or too consistently don't get enough sleep, it starts to wear on us physically. And physically, when we're not well, our emotions, our ability to handle life's ups and downs gets degraded. And then there's self-awareness. We've got to maintain a level of self-awareness that is perhaps above what you normally would. Maybe not. Maybe this is what people need to do. Ancient Greeks have inscribed, know thyself. Self-awareness is incredibly important, but we don't teach it in school. We don't teach it in our society. We don't really spend a lot of time helping people learn to take care of themselves. And so that's one of the things that my program opens up for people is a strategy for becoming more and more aware of the different aspects of life. Because it's not just, take care of yourself, it's not just your physical health. Physical health is incredibly important, don't get me wrong, but it's not only your physical health. We've got to pay attention to our attitude and to how we are treating people and to what our values are, what's important to us, and are we living into our values? And if we're not living into our values, how can we strategize a way to begin to live into our values? And so my programs are all centered around the core, the absolute basic thing that you can do. Is so simple. It's so simple. And honestly, it can be easy. Now, continuing to do it is not easy, because if something is easy to do, it's also easy not to do, and it's very difficult to start a new practice. And so that's the third component to a healthy life, is healthy habits. And how do you get those? And so in the program, we utilize a 4-point strategy that I gleaned from a lot of the reading that I've done. James Clear's Atomic Habits is a wonderful book, and it's foundational to this work. And so what I teach about habits is it's a acronym REST, R-E-S-T. So the rest is, you got to remind yourself, because you're going against your amygdala. Your amygdala is this almond-shaped part of your brain that's located at the base of your skull that is charged with keeping you safe. It's the seat of the fight or flight response, and fight or flight is short. It's fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. But I won't go into that right now. So you got to remind yourself, because your amygdala will interfere. It will say, this feels dangerous, because anything new feels dangerous. And the E is for enjoy yourself. And so you've got to really enjoy the practice, because frankly, if we don't like doing it, it's not going to happen. We're not going to keep doing it. And so you've got to be intentional about enjoying it. And there are ways to do that. If something isn't inherently enjoyable, one of the ways to learn to enjoy it is to celebrate that you did it, and to actually just go ahead and feel smug. Go ahead and say, I'm better than other people because I did this. You don't have to tell anybody that. Nobody else has to know. But you can feel smug for a minute. It's okay. So that's the R, remind yourself. E is enjoy it. S is keep it small and doable. That's why the practice that I encourage is only 5 minutes, because it's got to, whatever it is that you decide to do has got to be so small and so doable that there is no excuse. You cannot say, I don't have enough time. You have 5 minutes. You can't say, I don't have the equipment, because what I encourage you to do is to sit still and be quiet. You don't need any special equipment. You don't need to go buy a yoga mat. You don't need to join a gym. You don't need to make an extensive grocery list and an extensive plan to prep your meals. You just need to sit still and be quiet for 5 minutes. You don't have to have a timer on it. You can, but you have a cell phone that has a timer in it, probably. If not, you probably have a microwave that has a timer on it. And so you have a way to time it. So there's no excuse. There's no excuse that could work. And so it has to be so small and so doable that no excuse could work. Now, the problem with small and doable is, if it's so small and so doable, if it's easy to do, it's easy not to do. And so we track it. Then that's the T in rest. We track it. We make a physical mark somewhere that says, yes, we did it. That amygdala that's trying to keep you safe will become a really fabulous forgetter. You will forget to do it. You will forget that you were gonna do it. And when that forgetter gets working really well, you can go 3 or 4 weeks without doing it. And so one of the principles is begin again. Always be willing to begin again. We think, I don't know, maybe you don't, but I've seen a lot of people who seem to think that if we don't get it right the first time, we're never going to get it right. And that's not been my experience in my life. I never get it right the first time. I often don't get it right the second time, and sometimes not the third or fourth or fifth. But if I keep coming back and I keep trying, eventually I get it right. And then something can happen and interfere, and I can lose it again. But I know that I can always begin again. The thing is that you only have the rest of your life to get this right. And so begin again, begin again, but track it every day. One of the cool things that you can do to track your practice is to find an accountability partner and be accountable to them, to say, yes, I did it, or even say, yes, I did it, or no, I didn't. Because if you make the tracking your baseline, um, not necessarily the 5 minutes, but the tracking is your baseline, then you teach your amygdala that it's safe to do the thing, because what's important is tracking. And so what I've done with an accountability partner, because again, time, I ain't got time for that, right? And so what my accountability partner and I decided was we would send an emoji. And so I would send her an emoji with a thumbs up saying, yes, I did it, or a happy face saying, yes, I did it. And then if I didn't do it, I would send the poop emoji. Um, and she would always respond and celebrate. And she would do the same with me, and I would celebrate with her. And so that response helps us to know that someone else is paying attention. It's really, really doable. You can do this with your team. And I have a strategy for helping a team develop a program and work together. Your team leader, your supervisor, your manager can get with me and find out about it. So I hope this is helpful. I hope that that it means something to you, because I'm here for you. I believe that your life is worth your effort. And I am here to encourage you and support you in any way that I can.